Hello and welcome to Building the Premier Accounting Firm. This is for individuals interested in having a successful accounting, bookkeeping, and tax business. This show is dedicated to helping accounting professionals confidently and competently offer quality accounting services to get paid what they're worth. Each of the episodes is conversational with tips and tricks where I speak with experts and actually give advice on things that you can be doing to have the premier accounting firm in your area. This is the 1-year anniversary of the podcast, so I encourage you to actually subscribe to the podcast and listen to our other episodes and see what it is that you can learn, how you can in fact have the premier accounting business. Now, I'm your host, Roger Knecht, president of Universal Accounting Center, and I have a special treat for you today. I've got a real nice episode that we're going to be doing just based on some of the conversations I've had over the last year or so, and more importantly, some of the insights from recent conversations that I've had with owners of accounting firms and what it is they're dealing with that I think you'll appreciate knowing. So let's first of all begin with the celebration of the fact that this is our 1-year anniversary. We've been doing this now for a year, and honestly, it's been an amazing journey. I've had the privilege of speaking with so many accomplished and successful accounting professionals with experts in certain areas of marketing and sales that I felt are very informational and helpful to you. And lastly, I just think that as for the conversations, they've gone very well. The idea of this podcast when it was first started was one of what are we going to do? How are we going to be unique and different? And I'm fortunate and blessed to say that I've had many of you reach out and express your appreciation for the episodes, for the show, and basically share some of the things that you've accomplished because of the things that you've learned and implemented in your business. So thank you for sharing those things. Thank you for letting me know of those successes, and more importantly, helping me just basically understand what might be more helpful moving forward. I appreciate that input. Now, as for today's episode, one of the things that I wanted to do is just share some of the challenges I've heard from owners of accounting firms, some of the things they're facing, and some of the things that they've done to address and actually move forward more confidently as they're dealing with them. So let's first of all start with the 3 things that I've heard most often. And the first happens to be that of growing the business. This is a common challenge. How do you get more clients? How do you market and sell your services? And then the next happens to be that of what additional services they ought to be offering. There's a lot of questions and concerns related to not only just doing the compliant work and doing it effectively and providing quality accounting services, but it's how do they transition into maybe advisory or coaching services and take on that new relationship with their clients, and most importantly, start generating additional revenue offering that service. The third is related to workflow efficiencies. It's tips and tricks. How can I be managing the business better? It's practice management. It's employee morale. It's dealing with things that actually improve the efficiency of the workflow, such as onboarding the clients and meeting with the business owners, such as to retain them and ultimately have a profitable business. So with those 3 things mentioned, let me just clearly say that this is a perfect explanation or demonstration of the principle of MAP. So the first thing I'd like to do is just point out that this is a principle that you should be familiar with. It's referred to as the universal business model. It's commonly referred to as mapping the business, and it's essentially where we're taking these issues or areas of concern that the business owner is trying to address and map them. The acronym stands for marketing and sales. The A stands for accounting, and the P stands for production. And you can see that the 3 things that I shared a moment ago fall very nicely into each of these 3 areas. So when it comes to running an accounting business and trying to determine where should you be spending your time, where should you be focused next to really help your company evolve and become better at what it's doing, and more importantly, become the business that you were wanting, in fact, the premier accounting firm in your area. What we want to do is just basically say, well, there's a variety of things that can be demanding our time and attention. Which do we give the time and attention to? And so what we want to first of all do is just ask the simple question, are you in a situation where you're wanting more clients? You're just not busy enough and you would like to actually have more clients? Are you in a position where you're plenty busy, you've got the clients you want, you just feel you can be offering more quality services and charging more for those services, meaning you just don't feel you're charging enough. Maybe you need to over deliver in some ways to charge more. And sometimes it's in this conversation that we're looking at adding new services to the mix so as to then bring in a new revenue stream. And then the last happens to be production. It's essentially looking at what new technologies are available, what's on the horizon that they need to become familiar with, what are some of the things that they need to maybe consider studying and becoming experts in. It's looking at your workflow to determine, is there something that you could do more efficiently, such as onboarding the clients? It's maybe delegating the work. It's perhaps empowering your staff, whether it be W-2 or 1099s, to do a little bit more with regards to the client work. It's maybe working more directly with the clients themselves more regularly. I always suggest at least meeting monthly with the client. And then with regards to profitability, it's what can we do to look at the business model to make sure that you're actually getting paid what you're worth? So that's the acronym of MAP, M-A-P. It is how we map the business. And as you map the business, identify the things that you want to focus on. Now, one of the things that I'd like to do is with this episode, give some ideas or suggestions that you can literally implement in your business to address each of these three areas. To begin, let's go ahead and address marketing and sales. As I work with accounting professionals, one of the things that I first want to recognize is which of the two are they most comfortable with. So oftentimes it's a conversation of, which do you feel you're doing well at? Are you marketing and generating leads and finding potential customers okay? Or are you in a position where you're struggling and don't know where to find potential business owners? Whether a marketing strategy is working or not is the question. And then if it's not marketing, then it's sales, which is to say, once you've made contact and identified certain potential business owners, how are you with regards to your sales funnel as to nurturing them and getting them to the point that they can see you as the expert and appreciate the services you're providing and in fact be intrigued by what it is you can do for them? Now, at this point, from a marketing to a sales level, it brings us to the engagement where you're meeting with the potential business owner, learning about their company, offering your services and closing the deal, getting the new engagement. There are three distinct phases that happen here. And depending on you as an accountant, as a bookkeeper or tax preparer, you may be strong or comfortable with one, two, or three of those elements. But traditionally, there is one that needs some attention, needs some help that you could be doing better at. And so what we want to do is just first of all assess if you're in a growth mode and needing to find more clients, which of the three areas of the sales process are you needing to either develop, enhance, or maybe spend some time on? Now, if it happens to be marketing, there are proven marketing strategies, things that you can implement in your business that are effective to finding new business owners. There are a lot of things that you can do, and rather than getting into the specifics, let me just mention a few of the most common ones I hear. You'll always hear about referrals. There are specific things that you can be doing to solicit referrals from other business owners, from clients and such, so as to meet potential clients. Now, this is a great way to grow your business, but it's not the only way. So in addition to referrals, we want to look at what other marketing methods are typically effective and also perhaps inexpensive. The natural thing that most commonly comes up is networking. Now, many accounting professionals may describe this as a natural thing to do, but I can definitely tell you it's not the favorite of everyone, and it does take time. Networking typically involves you attending various meetings where business owners gather. It's joining associations like the Homeowners Association to focus on contractors, let's say. It's joining the Electrical Association to work with electricians. It's finding where the business owners congregate, and if you're particularly interested in niching your services and becoming a specialist, you can obviously identify what associations those people participate in and get involved with those. The other happens to be more generic in the sense that you can do the Chamber of Commerce route. You can find local networking groups in your area. A very common or familiar one is BNI, Business Networking International. All of these are effective ways to grow your business from a networking perspective, but they do take time. Initially, what it is people want to vet the newcomer to determine whether or not they're actually committed and they have that stick-to-itiveness. They're going to stick around and stay in business. They want to learn, are they actually capable and competent in their skill set? So they're kind of at a distance watching and observing. So it's not like you attend one single meeting and leave with potential clients, but you can definitely attend a meeting and make some good connections and really from that do some good follow-up. So those are some of the things on a marketing level that I'd like to just briefly share. But when it comes to sales, what we have to recognize is that the marketing worked. We have in our hand maybe a business card or a new contact of a potential business owner that we could be working with. But how do we get them from now being a name on a piece of paper, or maybe someone that we've added to our CRM, to now seeing us as the expert, appreciating and knowing our services, and perhaps being intrigued enough to meet with us and find out how we might be able to help them? Now, for some people, this is a drawn out process, meaning it takes time to nurture this contact to help them see the value of your services. Other times you're fortunate enough to meet with them for the first time when they have in fact a need. It's tax time, they need taxes done, you're the obvious choice, and away you go. But the point is whether it be a short-term or a long-term duration, you need to have a sales funnel to nurture them in this process. And so that nurturing is a variety of things. It can involve such things as emails, it can involve meeting with the client, it can be a variety of things that you can do to help position yourself as that expert. But it ultimately is going to culminate where you have then an appointment. That's the objective of the sales funnel, an appointment to meet with the business owner to find out about them. That's the most important step, is to find out about them and then share with them your services and what it is you do. So it's very important that you understand that the third element of the sales process is in fact that one-on-one meeting with the client, and you're effectively meeting with them to find out about their company, what's going on in the business, just genuinely and sincerely being interested in what it is they do. And then at some point transitioning to sharing a little bit about your business and services and asking for the sale. Now, this will bring up questions obviously regarding pricing. It will bring up what services you may want to offer and how you present those. And that would be nice for another discussion. In fact, we've done other episodes that address that more specifically, so I would encourage you to go look at those. But I'm hoping that you, at least from a mapping point of view, in mapping your business, if growing your company and getting more clients is what you want to do, you can hopefully see the distinction between the three elements of marketing, which is lead generation, sales funnel, and then that third and final step of meeting with the client and offering your services. Now, that being said, there is the next area, which is when mapping the business, looking at the accounting, and it's definitely the services that you're providing. So if you're in a position where you've got plenty of clients and you're just basically saying, you know what, I don't feel that they're paying me what I deserve. I don't feel that I'm doing everything I could offer them as services. I think they could maybe tap into other things that I do and pay for those as well. Or maybe it's I need to offer more services so that I can in fact charge more and get paid what I'm worth. There are three key elements here that I'm hoping you're identifying. When we're looking at the services, we want to first of all understand, are you offering all the services that you intended to offer when you started your business? And I say that because many people, when offering accounting services, will start with, let's say, bookkeeping, with the intentions of later on offering tax services, or they begin by offering tax services and take advantage of a current tax season to only later then intend to offer bookkeeping services and then perhaps offer accounting services and so forth. Whatever that evolution looks like, what we want to first of all realize is, are you getting paid properly for the services you're currently providing? In other words, is your pricing currently accurate? The next question is are there additional services that are complementary that you could or should be offering that you're not currently? How do we get your clients to then also see value in those and pay you for them as well? And then the third element is, what's next? There are other complementary services that may not be considered necessarily accounting by nature, but are definitely ones that you can get into. And the most common choice is advisory and coaching services. And it's essentially you're basically coming up with what those services look like for your clients, and then coming up with a pricing schedule, and then more importantly, then presenting those for them to then pay for those services. Now, I can share with you that in this process of looking at, I'm working with plenty of clients, I'm plenty busy, I would just like to maybe do more with them or charge them more. The easiest way to determine how you go about that is first looking at your pricing strategy, see whether or not you're competitively priced for what it is you're doing, and then secondly, determine whether or not there's any new services that you could or should be offering. So regarding the pricing, let me just mention that if you're in a traditional setting, and I just mean average, so I don't want to imply that it needs to be less or more, I just want to say average, you should be, from a bookkeeping perspective, making no less than $40 to $80 an hour. And that's if you actually took your time each week that you're working on your clients and you average that over maybe a quarter, and you figure out, well, this is the average number of hours I work doing the work for the business itself, billable hours. Even if you're not charging hourly, you just want to determine how many hours and then divide that by the revenue you earned providing those services. And then you can quickly figure out what it is you're actually earning per hour. It's not whether or not you're charging this way. It's just assessing whether or not your fees are getting you what you're worth. And if you're able to do this, you're effectively able to determine, are you in the ballpark that you should be for bookkeeping services? Now, when it comes to tax services, tax typically ranges anywhere between $100 to $150 per hour. Now, you should be in that ballpark. Many people I know are actually above the 150. I know of some that are well above $200 per hour simply because they get into business tax returns. They do some specialty services. And so they're easily able to get up into that higher realm. So definitely the average being 100 to 150 is just that, an average. But if you are able to look at how many hours you're working during a tax season, and you sum up the number of hours you worked and divided that by the revenue that you were earning, you should clearly see you fall in that realm. Now, this isn't the hours of maybe doing this, that, and the others. It's doing the tax returns that we're trying to calculate here. And then that will actually help you determine what you're charging per hour. Even though you may not be charging hourly, you're charging maybe some other way. This is essentially a way of kind of thumbnail checking, is your pricing strategy correct? And then the third is accounting or advisory coaching services. This is more where you're getting into the analysis. It's where you're meeting with the client and asking questions and looking at situations, discussing scenarios. In that type of consultative work, what we want to make sure is that you're well above the $250 per hour. Now, the $250 per hour includes not only the time that you're meeting with the client, but it is the preparatory time. Typically, it's an hour or more before the meeting. And then generally speaking, it's about an hour after the meeting where you summarize for your own records what was done and maybe send over some complimentary information to the client. If you're looking at the sum of that time, the preparatory time, the meeting time, and the follow-up time, if you're summing that and dividing it by the revenue you're earning for those services and find that you're getting at least the $250 per hour, you're doing just fine. So if you're near the ballparks, you're obviously doing great. If you're above, happy day. But if you're not in those areas, then obviously the question just simply becomes, what can we do to adjust the pricing that you're currently charging for the services you're providing? Then the second becomes, as I was showing, what additional services could you be offering? What maybe training should you go through to complement and get the confidence you need to provide those additional services? For many bookkeepers, it's offering tax. For many tax, it's offering bookkeeping. For many bookkeepers, it's getting into consultative or coaching type work. I mean, the list is endless. It's just, how do you want to actually complement your services to the point that you're in fact now the premier accounting firm in the area, offering full service accounting, full accounting services, like a full charge bookkeeper and such. The last is the production area of the business. So when looking at mapping your business, we're looking at production, and we're just wanting to say, that's great that you can provide all these services, but are you doing so efficiently? Do you have a workflow that allows you to manage this effectively, whether it be you're doing it individually, yourself, or delegating it to staff? And are they basically following a similar routine regardless of the client and regardless of the accountant doing the work? Are they actually just following a workflow? And if you're efficiently doing this, then it means that your profit margins are going to be reflecting that. If you're just kind of winging it, trying to do the workflow as needed, you're just kind of, I've got it all in my mind and this is how I just do it, you're running the risk that you're not as efficient as you could be, or at least not able to duplicate that workflow. And that's where your challenges are going to lie. And so when we talk about production, we want to look at definitely the workflow. The second thing we want to look at is your onboarding. Even though you may not be taking on new clients right now, this is the perfect time to just learn from past experience and determine, when bringing on a client, what would be the best way to do so for the client's sake, so that there's not frustrations or confusions on their end, so that for you it's easy. One of the great examples of this is trying to get from your clients certain logins and passwords, or getting set up with the bank feeds. This shouldn't be, oh, I forgot to ask, and oh, I still need. This should be part of the onboarding process to basically be, here's what we need, and there's this checklist of everything being put into place so that when we're finished, by the end of the first month, everything's in place, everything's now working. We now can move from here and just repeatedly do the work on a month-to-month basis. So onboarding can be an excellent thing to kind of streamline. And then the third part of this is definitely the client relations, which is how frequently you're meeting with the client. When you meet with them, what do those meetings look like? What's that agenda? When you arrive and meet with the client, what part of the financial reports are you reviewing? What are you highlighting and drawing their attention to? What questions are you now discussing with the client? What are the things that they're leaving the meeting with? It's the therefore what discussion of, okay, now that I have this, what am I going to do differently this next month? If you're doing this on a production level, then you're actually building good quality relations that improve client retention and at the same time put you in an excellent position to then ask for referrals. So what we're doing here is, again, the universal business model of mapping your business to determine of the three areas of your company, which needs the attention right now. Is it that you need more clients, that you need to figure out your pricing and ensure that you're offering the correct or best services, or are we looking at workflow efficiency to improve profitability? When you map your business, what it does for you as a business owner is it puts you in a position where as you're dealing with the day-to-day challenges, you're able to compartmentalize each of the things that you're dealing with into one of these three areas and address them accordingly. It's no longer everything's pressing and everything's important. It's okay, here's the things that I need to do that are related to marketing and growing my business. Here are the things I need to do to offer more quality services and get paid what I'm worth. And here are the things that I need to do to work more efficiently and profitably. If I can compartmentalize these thoughts, ideas, suggestions, the late night thinking that I have, I'm able to then prioritize which needs the attention now. I don't want to lose the idea I had before, but I want to be able to prioritize and say, but this is the thing I'm going to work on now. And if possible, even delegate. What can I do to have someone else help with this? And the delegation can consist of someone internal in the company that may be better suited to do these things, or it may be external, hiring another business or company to actually help with some of these things. Now, a good example of that within production is just what other complementary accounting services, plugins, and so forth are ones that you could be using to either streamline your workflow or actually help with the relations you have with your client. In other words, what could they be using so that you can actually do your job more easily? It's essentially, this is presented to the client as if this is for them, but in all reality, it's actually a plugin or a software type thing that's for you, in all honesty. So as you look at your business, what we want to do is just apply the principles of MAP to see what it is you can be doing to improve your business and help you become more profitable offering accounting services. So the purpose of this episode is to apply the principles that come from the book In the Black. So real quickly, as a promotional sponsorship, I just want to mention that this is highlighted or sponsored by Universal Accounting Center. And in the episode description, you can go there and find a link to receive a free copy of the book In the Black. These are the 9 principles that you can use to make your business profitable. These are principles that you can implement in your company, and in doing so, actually see what you can do to map your business more effectively to work on those 3 elements that make up the profitability of your company. The beautiful part of this whole thing is that once you actually become not only comfortable with these principles, but able to implement them in your own business, you're able to then now take these to your clients, and as part of the coaching services you're offering, provide them with the In the Black principles to work on their company as well. So this is a great resource for you as a business coach to now actually take and complement your accounting services with more coaching related services. So get your copy of In the Black, going to the episode description, and take care of that today. Now, as for the discussion today regarding mapping your business and the universal business model, I just want to suggest, as one of the, at the 1 year mark, let's say, of this podcast, I just want to suggest that each of these episodes are designed to actually help you think about your business, work on your business, more understand what you can be doing to improve your business. And as part of that whole discussion, I just wanted to share with you, as I've been speaking with many of business owners, what those conversations typically look like. And it's essentially just, What part of your company are you trying to address right now? Which is the thing that you feel is the greatest opportunity? Where do you feel the greatest potential is that if you had time and energy to focus on something would make the biggest difference? And it's just one of three things. It's literally, I need some more clients. I've got all the clients I want. I would just like to offer quality services and maybe get paid a little bit better. Or lastly, it's just, I think I need to work more efficiently. And if I could just get my weekends back or maybe not work nights anymore, maybe I can have a more profitable business and take some time off. Whatever the case may be, you just need to identify which is your priority, and then doing so, then identify what are those things that make up those areas of the business that you can then focus on in the coming months and really improve those areas of the company. Marketing and sales, getting into offering more quality accounting services, and perhaps evolving into advisory and coaching services, and making sure your pricing is appropriate. And then lastly, with regards to the idea of production, just making sure you're using technology to its fullest, that you've got documented workflows, that you're able to follow a proven system repeatedly and know that it works. And then with regards to client relations, you're actually meeting with them with purpose and intent and helping them see the application of the reports that you're providing in their business to help them make more informed business decisions. You've got an amazing business model here. At the most simplistic form, mapping your business is in fact what you need to be doing in your company to ensure that you are in fact building the premier accounting firm in your area. So with this in mind, I just want to thank you for your time. I want to obviously thank you for subscribing and listening to these podcasts each and every week. We've got an amazing agenda for this second year. We've got some excellent guests coming up. I'm excited about who we have to share with you. The suggestions and feedback that they have to help you in your business are great. We've had some great conversations that are scheduled that I'm looking forward to. So a lot to look forward to. Subscribe to the podcast and get notified as to when these new episodes are released. As for the last thing that I'd like to share with you, it's simply this. Accounting success is universal. If you'd like to know more about how you can work on your business and not be in business by yourself, you can actually reach out to Universal Accounting Center. Here at Universal, we have trainings, programs, certifications, coaching, and support to help you from a variety of points of view, such as marketing, sales, offering quality accounting services, getting into advisory and coaching services, everything that you can think of. We have live events that you can attend. We've got support groups that you can participate in with peers. Find out more about what you can do with Universal Accounting Center so that you can be in business for yourself, but not by yourself with Universal. The other thing I'd like to just simply share is that with regards to Universal, we do have a website that's committed to helping you learn more about these principles. It is universalaccounting.com. There are a good number of free resources available to you there that I would encourage you to take advantage of. And then lastly, universalaccountingschool.com, where we have a number of the programs available that you can check out and see which would apply to you and your current circumstances to in fact help you become more competent and confident in the services that you're providing. So with that in mind, feel free to reach out to us directly by calling us at 801-265-3777. Take care, have a great day, and always remember this: if it's about accounting, it is universal.